Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Vision podcast. This is the show where we help you build your English skills through clear, natural, and interesting conversations. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Sarah. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today.
It is always great to have you, Sarah. How has your week been?
It has been a busy week, actually. I have been spending a lot of time in my room with my books and my computer. I decided to take a break from formal classes this month, so I'm learning completely on my own.
That is a big step. Learning on your own is what we call self-study. It is actually a perfect topic for us to discuss today, because I know many of our listeners are also studying English by themselves at home.
Yes, I think many people have to do self-study. Sometimes classes are too expensive or we do not have the time to commute to a school. But I will be honest, John, it is much harder than I thought it would be.
I completely understand. When you are in a classroom, the teacher tells you exactly what to do. You have a structure. When you study by yourself, you are the student and the teacher at the same time. What is the hardest part for you right now?
The hardest part is knowing if I'm doing it right. Yesterday, I sat at my desk for 3 hours straight. I read 20 pages of a textbook and copied down 50 new words. By the end, my brain felt completely empty. I do not think I remember any of those words today.
What you just described is a very common trap. It sounds like you were cramming. Cramming is when you try to force a massive amount of information into your brain in a very short period of time. People usually do this right before a test.
Yes, cramming, I think that is exactly what I was doing. But why is it bad? I thought spending more time studying meant I would learn more.
It seems logical, but our brains do not work that way. When it comes to learning a language, consistency is much more important than intensity. Consistency means doing something regularly over a long period of time. Instead of studying for 3 hours on Sunday and doing nothing the rest of the week, it is much better to study for 20 minutes every single day.
20 minutes. That does not sound like enough time to learn a language.
It might sound small, but those 20 minutes add up. When you study a little bit every day, you're constantly reminding your brain that this information is important. It helps move the vocabulary from your short-term memory, which forgets things quickly, to your long-term memory.
That makes sense. So, if I only have 20 minutes, what exactly should I do? Sometimes I just watch a movie in English and hope that I learn something. Does that count as self-study?
That is a great question. Watching a movie in English is helpful, but we need to talk about the difference between passive learning and active learning. Have you heard those terms before?
I know the words active and passive. Passive means you're not really doing much, just letting things happen. Active means you're putting in energy. But how does that apply to studying?
You explained those words perfectly. Passive learning is when you consume information without interacting with it. Watching a movie without pausing, listening to a podcast while cleaning the house, or reading a book. Quickly, you are hearing or seeing the language, which is good, but you are not practicing your ability to produce the language.
Ah, I see. So active learning is when I actually use the language.
Exactly. Active learning requires effort. If you're watching that same movie, active learning would be pausing the movie when you hear a new phrase, writing it down, repeating it out loud to practice your pronunciation, and then trying to write your own sentence using that new phrase.
Oh wow, that sounds like a lot more work, but I can see why 20 minutes of active learning is better than 3 hours of passive learning. When I just watch a movie, the words go in one ear and out the other.
That is a perfect idiom, Sarah. In one ear and out the other. It means you hear something but immediately forget it. Active learning prevents that from happening.
So how can I be more active when I study alone? I cannot talk to a teacher.
One of the best methods for active self-study is using a technique called spaced repetition. This is a system where you review information at gradually increasing intervals.
Gradually increasing intervals? Could you explain what that means?
Sure. Imagine you learn a new word today, like the word umbrella. You should review it tomorrow. If you remember it tomorrow, you do not need to review it the next day. You can wait 3 days. If you remember it after 3 days, you wait a week. You're increasing the space or the time between each review.
I understand now, so I only review the words right before I'm about to forget them.
Precisely. And there are many free applications on your phone that can do this for you using digital flashcards. The app remembers when you last saw the word and calculates exactly when you need to see it again. It takes all the guesswork out of your self-study routine.
That sounds very helpful. I will definitely look for one of those apps. But John, even if I have a good plan, sometimes I just do not want to study. Sometimes I wake up and I feel no motivation. How do you deal with that when you are your own teacher?
That is the most honest and important question about self-study. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change every day. Some days you will feel excited to learn, and other days you will feel tired or lazy. That is completely normal. The secret is that successful self-study does not rely on motivation, it relies on discipline and habits.
What is the difference between motivation and discipline?
Motivation is the desire to do something. Discipline is doing it even when you do not have the desire. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not wake up feeling incredibly motivated and excited to brush your teeth. You just do it because it is a habit, a normal part of your routine.
That is very true. I never skip brushing my teeth, even if I'm tired.
Exactly. Your goal is to make studying English a habit, just like brushing your teeth. To do this, you need to make it as easy as possible to start. If your plan is to read a difficult textbook for an hour, your brain will find excuses to avoid it. But if your plan is just to review flashcards for 5 minutes while you drink your morning coffee, it is much easier to begin.
And once I begin, it is usually easier to keep going. Sometimes the hardest part is just opening the book.
You hit the nail on the head. That means you're exactly right. Starting is always the hardest part. By setting a very small, easy goal, you trick your brain into starting.
I love that idea. Make the goal so small that I cannot say no to it. But what happens if I study consistently every day, but I still feel like I'm not improving? I had this happen last month. I felt stuck.
Feeling stuck is a very natural part of the learning process. In education, we call this hitting a plateau. A plateau is a flat area of land on top of a mountain. In learning, it means your progress has flattened out. You're not going down, but you feel like you're not going up either.
Yes, a plateau that describes the feeling perfectly. It is very frustrating. It makes me want to quit. How do we get off the plateau and start climbing again?
When you hit a plateau, it usually means your current study methods have become too comfortable. Your brain is not being challenged anymore. To start climbing again, you need to change your routine.
Change my routine. How do you mean buying a different textbook?
It could be that, but it is usually simpler. If you spend most of your time reading, you should switch to speaking. If you spend your time listening to podcasts, switch to writing short essays. You have to shock your brain with a new type of challenge.
That makes a lot of sense. I usually just read. I'm very shy about speaking, even when I'm alone in my room.
Speaking alone in your room is actually one of the best ways to practice. You do not need a speaking partner to improve your spoken English.
Really? But how do I know if my pronunciation is correct if no one is listening to me?
You can use your phone to record yourself. Try describing what you did today or summarize a movie you just watched and record your voice. Then listen back to the recording.
Oh, listening to my own voice? I hate doing that. It sounds so strange.
Everyone hates hearing their own voice at first. I promise you. But it is an incredibly powerful tool. When you're speaking, your brain is working hard to find the right words. So you do not always hear your own mistakes. But when you listen to the recording, you can act like a teacher. You will be surprised by how many of your own mistakes you can easily recognize and fix.
I suppose I could try that. I can listen to it and then delete it immediately so no one else hears it.
Exactly. It is a completely safe environment. You are allowed to make as many mistakes as you want. That is the beauty of self-study. You are entirely in control of your environment.
We have talked about many things today. I want to make sure I remember everything. Let me see if I can summarize.
Please do. Summarizing is a great active learning technique.
First, consistency is better than cramming. It is better to study a little bit every day than to study for many hours once a week.
Spot on.
Second, active learning is better than passive learning. I need to interact with the language, not just let it wash over me.
Correct.
Third, I should use spaced repetition to help remember vocabulary, maybe using a flashcard app on my phone.
Yes, absolutely.
Fourth, do not rely on motivation. Build a daily habit by making the starting goal very small, like studying for just 5 minutes. And finally, if I hit a plateau and feel stuck, I need to change my study methods to challenge my brain in a new way, like recording myself speaking.
Sarah, that was a perfect summary. You captured all the most important points perfectly. If our listeners take these concepts and apply them to their daily lives, their self-study sessions will become much more effective.
I feel much better about my self-study journey now. I think I was just doing too much passive learning and putting too much pressure on myself. Tomorrow, I will start with just 15 minutes of active practice.
That is a fantastic plan. And remember to be kind to yourself. Learning a language alone is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time, patience, and a lot of self-compassion. If you miss a day, do not punish yourself. Just start again the next day.
Thank you, John. This was a very helpful conversation. I hope the listeners found it helpful too.
I am sure they did. Thank you all for tuning in to the English Vision podcast. We will be back next week with another episode to help you reach your English goals. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and have a wonderful week ahead.